Hello everyone, welcome again to this my YouTube channel. Our today's discussion will be focusing on the top 10 Microsoft Excel functions. So my name is Emmanuel Madanga, an expert in Microsoft Excel from Beyond Data Statistics Solutions. So in the previous video, we've been able to cover a lot of aspects: filtering, sorting, creating table designs, introduction to Microsoft Excel basics, and so many videos on our channel. So kindly subscribe to our channel for you to get in touch with us for more release of videos that are very helpful in this Excel journey. So today let's look at the agendas and objectives of today. So we are going to look at just a brief introduction to functions and formulas, and then from there I will dive deeper into the top 10 Microsoft Excel functions. So let's see what are functions and what are formulas, and let's see what. Yeah, so we get to understand what functions are, what are formulas. So a formula is an expression which calculates the values of a cell or specified some cell. For example, as you can see on my left, I have a function there. For example, getting the sum of cell A1, cell A2. These results are populated in cell A3, as you can see. So A1 plus A2 gives us the result in A3. So this is a formula, Microsoft Excel formula. This is how the formula looks like. And on the other hand, you see there is equal to sum, which also performs the same value or the same expression as the formula. So a function are predefined formulas and are already available in Excel. So you can see that we just specify some range of the cells that we want, and then we populate those results. So functions are built-in formulas in Microsoft Excel, while formulas are defined user-defined expressions to solve a particular problem. So that's the difference between a formula and a function. So let's deep dive into the top 10 Microsoft Excel functions. So as you can see, that formulas functions save a lot of time. You don't have to memorize. For the sake of formulas, you have to memorize for you to perform a particular expression. So like here we have top 10 Excel functions, which we are going to cover today in this video. So we are going to start by looking at count function, sum function, if, average, CountIf, SumIf, VLOOKUP, a minimum, maximum, and the sum product. So let's go to our Microsoft Excel data and that we have for today. So for example, we have said that the difference between a formula and a function. So let's see. So for example, when I have these entries, so let me copy this and also paste this one in under functions. So a formula is you define it, user defined. For example, equal to, and then I tap this cell, then I say plus, and then I tap this cell, then I hit enter, then I'll have populated the sum of these two cells using a formula. That's a formula. While using a function, I'll come here and say equal to sum, then I open my quotes, then highlight the data that I want, that the range of that data, I close and hit enter. Then I'll also be able to produce the same results. So you see, functions are built in, whereas formulas, they are user defined. So let's look at the count. What does the count function do? So to count the number of cells that contain numbers, we use the count function in Excel. For example, in this data that we have, when we want to count cells that contain numbers, we use count. because let's see what happens here. So for example, I want to see that how many cells here are containing numbers. So I say equal to count. You can double tap this and then select the range of cells that I want to check the count. So when I hit enter, I'll be told that I have 3. So you have seen that my range is from B3 to B7, but the return output is 3 because only 3 cells are containing the numbers, whereas the other 2 cells are containing text. So when we want to count the number of cells that are not empty, you see in this case we've counted that contain numbers, and maybe you want to count the cells that are not empty, so you use the counter. Counter stands for the count all in Microsoft Excel. So here I just say equal to counter, equal to counter, yes, and then I select this up to here, then I hit enter. So you see the difference. The counter function returns 5, whereas the count function returns 3. So that tells us how different these functions work. So in this video, I'm covering the top 10 most Microsoft Excel functions. So the first aspect is count. So the second aspect is sum. So let's see what sum is. So sum, to sum a range of cells, use the sum functions in Excel. So the sum function, maybe for example, let me show you here how I obtain the sum here of these cells. So for example, I wanted to sum this. So there is a shortcut of doing this. So you can just highlight this up to the lower blank cell, and then just Alt equal to be able to sum. Alt equal to is a shortcut for you to sum. For sum, you can see the expression is equal to sum from that. So that's an Excel function equal to this, but a shortcut is Alt equal to. So you'll be able to populate the sum of that, and that is sum. So let me show you again also. For example, you wanted to sum across a column or across a row. So let me show you how you sum across a column. So for example, you have your entries in column A1. Okay, in column A. So let's say you have 30, maybe you have here 40, and maybe we have here 60. You wanted to sum all the entries in column A. So you'll just use equal to sum into your range, you say A colon A. That's how we sum all the entries in column A. So you just hit enter, then you'll get your output is 140. The same way you can just use a formula equal to, you select this cell plus, select this cell plus, you select this cell, sorry, select this cell, and again it should be able to give you the same result, which is 140. So that's how to sum across. That's summing across okay, along the row, along the column. So let's see how we do that along the row. So let me just remove this, and for example, we want to sum along the row. So maybe I may have here 80, may have here 70, may have here 50. So I wanted to sum along, okay, across the row 16. So row 16, I'll just say equal to sum into bracket, I'll say 16 full colon 16. So that's how we do that in Microsoft Excel. Then you hit enter. When you hit enter, you'll be able to obtain the sum of that. So you can see that sum for this row is 200. So that's how sum works. So I'm going to produce several videos, particularly for each of these top 10 Microsoft Excel functions, explaining deeper how they work. So let's go to if. How does if work? So for example, I want to know those who have failed and those who have passed in this particular test. So the if function, what does it do? So it checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if it's false. So let's see. So for example, when I'm here and I want to know then those who have passed, that is those who have maybe scored above 40, and those who have failed, that means that those who have scored below 40. So I'll say equal to if I select this cell here. So I'll check greater than or equal to 40, greater than or equal to 40, comma, then I pass some parameters. The first one, that is if the condition is true, it should tell me pass, and if the condition is false, should tell me fail. Yeah, that's how we pass those parameters in the if function. So when I hit enter, I've been told it is pass, so maybe I autofill out to the bottom. Yeah, you see, so this one is failed because it's below 40. So that is how the if function works. So the explanation behind it is that if the score is greater than or equal to 40, the if function shows above results as pass, and else it will return fail. It will return a fail. So let's look at average. So at average, for example, I want to get the average of the top 3 scores in mathematics. So the average of top 3 scores. So the average, so in the average calculates a group of numbers. Just to get the average of a group of numbers, you just use average. So for example, let me just see the average of this. So I'll just say equal to average before I go to the other aspect of the top 3. So average, then I highlight my data from there to there, that is the range, and I hit enter. So the average, or the average, which is the mean, so is 63.7. So again, when I want to get the top 3, so I'll just say equal to average. So this is a little bit complex for a beginner, but I'm going to cover a lot of videos on this so that we can get to understand. So here, first of all, average, the large, then the large I selected the array of my data from here to here, comma, and then from there now I now put in the curly brackets 1, 2, 3, the top 3, close the curly brackets. Then I can now close the opening for the large, and then I can close for the average. So it should be able to return the average of the top 3 scores. So when I hit enter, I see that average of the top 3 is 85. Average of top 3 is 85. Yeah, so that's how it works. So it will evaluate the top 3 scores. For example, here we have 99, we have 80, and then we have 78. So we get the sum of that, then we divide by 3 to get the average. Yeah, so first of all, the large will return as 99, 80, and 78. Then we get the average of that. So that's how average works. Yeah, so let's look at the count function. Okay, so let's go to the CountIf. Let's go to CountIf. So for example, I want to know the number of male in this gender column and the number of female. So I just use CountIf. So I'll say equal to CountIf. I select the range from here to here, comma, then the criteria may select one of the cells here. So this is male, so I just select male, then I close, hit enter, returns to me the total. So I can click that male over the other side, or this male here should be able to produce the same result. So I can just change this, and the criteria here for formatting, I just select this. Yes, then it will be able to return for me that. And again, I can drag down, but I can again change the parameters there because my cell are absolute. So yeah, so you can see I can just change this back to, you see, when you drag down, if you have not specified that your cells be absolute, they will be relative. So when I hit enter, that is it. So you can again specifically specify how this CountIf works. So you can again just say CountIf, and instead of just select the range, and instead of you selecting a particular cell, you can just put in quotes and say male, just like this, and then you hit enter. Yeah. So that's that. Also produces the same results, or the same way I can just say CountIf, and again I specify in this range here quotes, say female. Yeah, then I hit enter. Yeah, so it produces the same results. So that's how CountIf works. I'll again produce several videos on that and how the explanation behind. So the sum if, so for example, I wanted to get the sum for specifically English subject and mathematics, chemistry, biology, and so on. So here I'll say equal to sum if. So sum if, I just select the range. Okay, I select the range. Let's select the range. This is the range. We have comma, the criteria. Criteria may just select here, maybe it's English that I want. Okay, sorry for that. Let me show you. Yeah, so I have said here, you say equal to, you first of all select the your range. Okay, this sum if the range, you select this subjects, you select this as subjects, comma, the criteria is English, comma, then you now select your sum range. So sum range is this, then you close, hit enter, you obtain your results. So maybe I set my cells to be absolute for that they don't move, but let me just let me just do this. Let me also do for maths and their subjects. So I'll just say equal to count sum if select the range of data, the range of column, then the criteria that I want is mathematics. Just click this cell, comma, then I select my sum range here to there. So hit enter again, so I'll have that results here. So the same way you can do that to chemistry and biology, and you'll be able to make use of the sum if. So again, I'll produce several videos. I'll produce another video for sum if. Okay, each particular function here I'll produce its explanation and more complex examples. So let's look at the VLOOKUP. So for example, I have my data for my company or organization. The employee ID, employee name, I may have gender, I may have marital status, and so on. The department, the sales, so the salary. So maybe I wanted to know, when I am provided with a particular employee ID, should I be able to know the salary, get to know the name of the employee and the department where the employee is coming from? So that is the idea. We make use of VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP stands for the vertical lookup. So I'll again produce a video on vertical lookup explaining how each works. So here I want to show you how we fetch based on ID. So I'll go, maybe I want to see the employee name. So I'll say equal to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is a function in Microsoft Excel. And then I select my lookup value, which is the employee ID, comma, the table array, I just select maybe here up to there, that's my table array, comma, the column index that I am looking for is the employee name, so employee name is column 2, comma, and I want an approximate match, so I'll say 1, and then from there I will be done. So I can just close this and then hit enter. So you see, this is NA because there is no any employee ID here have been inserted. So let me also do the same to these others. So I'll just say VLOOKUP, select the lookup value must be primary key, which is unique. Then you select your table array, and then the column is column 2. That's now column 3 for this case, and then exact match. So hit enter. Then I do the same to the last aspect. I'll say equal to VLOOKUP. Open. So select the lookup value, select my table array of data, and then I can now specify the column. Then I say I want exact match. So yeah, so up to there, just also hit enter. So anytime I enter here an ID, I should be able to populate all the other columns, and I get to know who is this. So let me say employee 103 is Anderson. So let's see if we will get that. So when I hit enter, I get that it's Anderson HR and it's earning 100,000. Let me say I enter something that is not there. 102. 102 is not in the employee ID. So sorry, it is using the wrong fetch. So let me fix that, how it should work. Yeah, so when you put there 101, you get that. When you put there 100, you should be able to get Henrik. When you put there 104, you should be able to get Benson. 105, you should be able to get Caroline. Suppose you put there 106, you should not get that person. Suppose you put there 102, you should not be able to get that person. So this is exact match. When you use approximate match, you'll be able to get the approximate person. But when you use exact match, you'll be able to factor out that. So again, I will produce another video on vertical lookup, X lookup, index and match, so on. I'll be going to produce that and explanation of how this works. So suppose you want it to communicate to you that maybe if there is no person is there, you should tell you maybe not found. Again, you'll have to add some extra function to this, and this is, we use the if error function. Then here you separate with a comma, you say into quote not found. When someone is not there, it should be able to tell you that it's not found. So, and again you apply that to the entire. So you see, like in this case is not found, but when you insert 105 that is there, or 103 that is there, should be able to populate the results. Again, when you produce something that is not there, 107, should be able to tell you not found. So you can do the same to this and this to have some consistency. So let's look at minimum. How does minimum work? Minimum is just the same way as the word tells us what the minimum is. So the minimum finds the minimum value. There is nothing more on minimum. So finds minimum value in a particular range. So let's see how we do that. So the way we do that is just to type at the function equal to minimum. So it returns the smallest value in a particular range. So like here, want to know who is earning the minimum salary. Minimum salary in this case is 50,000 as finance. So let's see maximum. Maximum is also part of our top 10 Microsoft Excel functions. So I'll just say max. Yeah. And then I also select this. Select the array, the range of cells, and then hit enter. I'll have 100. So let's see the sum product, how the sum product works. So sum product, first of all, we'll compute the product and then we'll sum that later. So sum product, just here is where I can use the sum product, because is where it can have populated all that. Or I can just come here and say equal to sum product, and then the array. So this is the first array, comma, followed by the second array. Then you close, you hit enter. That's how the sum product works. Again, I will explain that in a separate video. So how that works? So it's just saying equal to, take this, multiply by this. Okay, I can just use this is equal to product. Yes, first of all, it computes the product. of these two cells, to compute that product. So I can just autofill up to this point, then I now get the sum of this. So the sum of this, I can just highlight this and alt equal to, I get that. So this value is the same as this. So that's how the top 10 Microsoft Excel functions are. That's how they work. I'm going to produce video deeply on functions and formulas in Microsoft Excel so that we get to understand what exactly each of these functions perform. So kindly like, subscribe to our channel. We can also share our YouTube link so that we can learn, all of us. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I expect maximum cooperation from you as we dive into Microsoft Excel. Thank you.